All right, Chris.
Welcome. So today on Eclectic Mysteries, we have the homie Lily. Met him at a work spot, and essentially we're very like-minded, and we're going to be having a lot more guests on the show, particularly just for the reason that everything has been uh, on an Ethernet level, right? We're all teaching and learning over the internet, and when it comes to personal interaction and actually meeting like-minded people, it's good to get together and share thoughts and ideas pertaining to the mysteries of life. When I met Lily, I felt like he was super connected to and aware of the higher planes of existence and how everything works together to help actually create us and shape and mold us. So he's
To a
gonna,
certain
yeah,
extent,
to a certain extent,
I understand. I
yeah.
come, I, I come from a different path, a different route than I know you. I know for a fact. But like most people, when when you're learning and delving into the sacred fucking arts, um, but yeah, for the most part, me and Chris we resonate on a very identical level mentally. Um, I'll also say spiritually. But Chris, allow me to preface this conversation, okay?
Yep, you're the guest, so take it
For
off. You're the guest.
for us and for anyone who sees this, I would like to preface this beautiful conversation we're about to have by saying a couple of things. The first thing that I want everybody to remember is that individually, you as an individual, me as an individual, Chris as an individual, and anyone that you see, truly deep down, we are on we are in a space. We're all together in the space at the same time. With that fact, I want you to keep in mind that we do not know for sure. You can say that you know because of the dogmas you follow, the doctrines, the religions, whatever, and whatever personal experience within your life uh, makes you feel like you can say for sure that you know that what you believe in is true. But deep down, I mean to the atomic level, we do not know what we are, where we are, or where we come from for sure. So I just first want to preface with that. And I say that just so everyone keeps an open mind.
Yep, we
Oh,
have to stay receptive and open, as Rudolf Steiner taught in one of the six exercises, to be receptive and make sure your chalice is half empty so that you can fill it with new ideas and perspectives. Because it is true on the physical plane, there's the truth of appearances and then there's the truth of reality. What might appear as a truth on one level, on a higher level, in a more subtle frame, is actually a truth of appearance, and then there's the actual objective truth. So in the physical realm, with us being numbed, our hyper senses being numbed, we are actually only taking information and seeing Maya as an illusion. So the grandmother of the universe becomes an illusion. She's not an illusion in and of herself. She's a projection of deity.
right.
But being as we are seeing things from a an incorrect lens. We don't know if we're just seeing a truth of, like within the appearances of reality. So that's why we have to actually understand that on this level, there's knowledge that we can get, but there's not a lot of knowledge that we can access until we actually make it to the next level. That's why there's so many different schools of thought. Some schools saying you reincarnate, some schools you don't. Some schools saying that you go and merge with nothing, your individuality is vanquished after death, some don't. Some say you move on with your same persona. Some say you are paying for the sins of your past life. So, on all of these perspectives are taught authoritatively as if they're true. So,
Mm-hmm.
we're just here to dissect and try to keep open, and we're going to do that practice where we're just open minded and see what we can dive into with these mysteries.
Correct. Another thing that I would like for everyone to keep in mind is that these, what we share, especially the personal things, are personal, right? So some things that we share might you might find similar to events in your life, but in no way are we trying to uh, persuade. My I love to say that I'm only here to provoke thought. So um, Everything that we share is of our own. There's a I'm almost positive there's gonna be a lot of original thought in this conversation. And original thought is it's like gold. It's like gold. Um, there's this economist. His name was Noam Chomsky, and I heard him say one time that 75% of the people on this planet they go their entire life without having an original thought. And an original thought described by him is a thought that was not dictated or influenced by an outside source. So say basically it's true. Like 75% of the people on this planet, they get up, they go to work, and they follow a schedule. They do what I don't want to necessarily say they're programmed to do, but they do what their lives um tailor to at that exact moment. Thank God I need a fucking cough. So an original thought, it could be something that you said out loud. It could be something that you just thought in your head. But it's something that most likely no one has ever thought of, no one has ever said before. And I can actually bring to you guys a very fucking potent original thought about, like Chris said, the flat Earth.
Yeah,
Um,
I want to dive into that because, being in, Salt Lake, I don't run into a lot of people at work or whatever. Like usually I bring it up. Sometimes I'm in an environment where I bring it up, even I know no one else believes it,
mhm.
and I'm just like I'm gonna take the hit. I don't care. I'm gonna play the fool in this
Yep.
situation because it's just entertaining to me to see,
Yep.
people get hit with something within their routine that breaks it up.
Hmm.
Oh, you're a flat earther? What do you mean? I've had people actually conversate with me. It's actually opened up some positive dialogue.
Yep. Yep.
Just being open about it and kind
Yep.
of playing it like, hey, I'm this.
Hmm.
They start asking you questions. They're
Hmm.
like, so what do you think about this or that, or how does it?
Yep.
And I would love to dive into your journey, and then because I don't haven't talked a lot about flat Earth on this channel, and
Yeah.
we're all pretty much we believe Earth is a realm, not a place.
Yeah. Of course.
So let's get your flat Earth journey. And when we say flat Earth, right, it's just ambiguous for we don't believe in NASA or
Of
the
course.
globe.
Of course.
Yeah, like yeah.
Let's
So yeah,
let's
go
just
ahead,
start with
bro.
the fact that
Let's hear it.
NASA employs more artists than they do scientists. Like more painters than they do scientists.
Yo,
Excuse me.
cartoons.
Exactly. So let me bring up this one fact, right? You look at every picture of a planet in a textbook, um, on NASA's website. It doesn't matter. Like a legit under the at the bottom of the picture it says, taken by NASA, right? Legit pictures. You can go to their website. All the pictures in your science textbooks and stuff. Where are the stars in those pictures?
Yep. And
Right?
those stars.
I ask that all the time. Where are the stars in
Good
those
one.
pictures? Okay, so
Good one.
just to
Yeah.
start, right?
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about how impactful. And a lot of people say flat Earth's not important. Like, why does it matter? Like, of course, cosmology matters.
Yeah,
Your cosmology dictates your reality.
exactly. It's
If you have a nihilistic cosmology, which even a lot of the esoteric schools are very nihilistic, like
hmm
just because it's
hmm
esoteric,
hmm
I don't care if it's religious or esoteric, the truth can only be found in kernels
correct,
within these. Like, there's only
correct.
a few people in each sect of religion, of esotericism or whatever. It doesn't matter what group you follow.
Hmm.
If you're running on the wrong cosmology, you're only going to get to a certain level of astral.
Yep.
So your truth is an appearance.
Hmm.
So essentially, just talk about how impactful and why is it impactful to move past this whole like, oh, there's infinite space out there, we don't know what's out there in the
Hmm.
physical realm, looking for stuff, excuses. I think it's excuses, but
So
go ahead and talk about it.
the thing about it is this. In my opinion, clearly, planet Earth, the realm that we call planet Earth, Mother Gaia, however you want to call it, there is there is a fight uh to have control over this space.
Yep.
So if there is a group that has control over this space, which we all at this point, if we're having this conversation and you're watching, you should know at this point there is a group. We don't know who, right? I'm not gonna sit here and say we know who Illuminati. It doesn't matter because I heard a wise man say you wouldn't even know. You would never even know the name, right? You could say Illuminati all day. The fact that you're saying that shows this is proof that you have no clue, right?
Yep.
Um, so they need control, and there was a group of people that we all derive from that was native and original, not to the lands, not to the continents, to the planet, to this planet, right? And so, what's the easiest way they show you they did it throughout history? What's the easiest way to confuse a group of people?
By telling them where they live is something that it's not.
Exactly. And this is all it is. This
Yep.
is all it is. This is that on the on humanity scale.
This stagnates your spiritual growth.
Exactly. Right?
And let's talk about why. Because essentially, when I was growing up in school, I always felt uneasy during science class because I felt like they were really trying to prove the nothingness,
Mm-hmm.
purposelessness,
Mm-hmm.
atheist, a nihilist. Like I was almost, I was always mystically inclined, so I wouldn't say I got thwarted by it,
Mm-hmm.
but I could see where there was doubt
Yep.
and
Mm-hmm.
a pain of not knowing our Father or our the Supreme Creator
Mm-hmm.
above. And all the ancients said, look up. And when we look up, our imagination becomes corrupted if we don't have a correct cosmology. So if we don't see that we're in like a beautifully contained uh, sphere and a centerfold of where things revolve around the
Us.
activity place, yeah,
Us. Literally
us.
us. Like if you pay attention, everything here was made with a purpose and purposely for us, right? Um, yeah.
Yeah, it's made just like as if God set up a table and we're his little toys of beautiful creations that he's placed parts of himself within and brought to life, and we are that same spirit. There's no separation, but we've come here to individualize, and this is a womb. We're
Exactly.
not shooting through the space millions of miles an hour. We're actually in a gestation phase where our souls are growing and becoming who we are. So it's actually a form of disrespect to say that this life is so purposeful. And people try to say that they're finding meaning out there, looking at Mars and trying to, to be spacey and all this stuff. But if you really think about it, how has it made your life better in any way, shape, or form?
It hasn't. It has
Yeah,
not it has not contributed any worth. It's just entertainment.
entertainment.
NASA is a religion. Ask yourself, what group of people dedicate their entire lives to something that they know that there's the propensity for them not to live to see it come to fruition? That is a religion, and NASA is a religion. Simple as that. There's like, so first of all, to not to get too far into that, my flat Earth journey started when, and it started when I was young. I just never attributed it to that. But it started when I would look into the sky and I would see the sun and the moon in the sky in the morning, going to school at the same time every day, right? And people will say, "Oh no, there's an orbit, and this sometimes the moon's over here. That's why you can't." No, it's just the moon is at that point a new moon, right? Every day, if you know your cycles, every day that the moon is full to where it's like the smallest crescent, you can still see it every single day. And when it's new is when you can't see it anymore.
And also behind the silhouette of the moon is like a silhouette. It's a sphere of plasma of light, and you can actually see behind the moon. So when the sky is blue,
Every day.
yeah, when the
Every
sky is
day.
blue, you know all the poles on the moon. If you look through it, they always take on the hue of the sky behind you, right?
How and this fucks me up, Chris, dude. How do people not see this, dude? It's like, okay, listen, we are not. I know. Okay, okay. I'm a very internet type of dude, right? We grew up in
The
a
digital age.
exactly right, YouTube and all that, right? So we've seen videos of people like flabbergasted, and I'm genuinely amazed that people don't see like You don't notice that every day you drive to work. Like I'm looking at the same sky you're looking at. Like
It's local. You could tell that moon.
literally,
It's
literally, the
local.
sun is too.
They're both local.
Surprisingly,
They're both the
surprisingly.
same distance from this plane, and in fact, what they are is like the Hermetics say, in a physical, symbolic representation of the invisible realm, they represent the Father and the Mother, as well as the divine child. The stars, the sun, and the moon. That's the three in one.
Simple as that.
Those are the lights. And when we look up at those stars, we're looking up at demigods. They've seen everything from the beginning. So,
Archetypes.
a lot of people like diving into history and asking, what have we actually learned from digging into history and trying to find the physical realm and what we can learn and what we can know, or we think that we're not being, that we're being watched by the government. The government, yeah, they're watching us, yeah, right, they are, but at the same time, as above, so below. Guess who's been watching us since day one?
Yeah.
The stars,
You come from the stars.
the luminaries. They've seen our whole Earth journey.
Everything, everything. They see it a year to a year and a half before us because everything in the astral happens in in that time frame. Like we, what we're experiencing right now, what we're talking. We did this a year ago, a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Different forms.
Yep, and the astral plane is the future. So a lot of the times when you see, you're at a different spot, just know that, well, obviously you're not going to live in the physical realm forever. So what does that mean? Your future is ethereal.
Indeed.
So a lot of that high technology and all them entities and ancestors and all these insights and ideas are actually given to us from beings on a higher plane.
Hmm.
And
Your
there's Yep,
ancestors.
your ancestors. And there's three categories of these beings. There's the hyper spiritual beings, the hyper materialistic beings, and the ones in the middle. So every choice of your life is dictated by which type of astral beings that you're being influenced by,
Mhm.
essentially. So you can tap into these different streams of consciousness and acquire information.
To maneuver, to maneuver the smoothest route within your life, your individual life, right? Because here's one thing that you need to understand about the universe, about the mother, right? Is that she doesn't look at you, she doesn't look at us how we look at each other. She's not looking at us from a, and we keep getting off the topic of I really want to pinpoint that flat earth shit because that's very important.
Yeah, we'll get back into it, but the flat Earth and Divine Mother, to me it's the same coin,
The
right?
same exact thing.
She is the Divine Mother who's impregnated by the Holy Purushic Spirit,
Mhm.
and that produces souls and individualities. Like in the Upanishads, it says there's the universe, the womb, the children coming out of the womb, beings, entities, organisms, and then there is the one who watches it, and
Mhm.
that's the secret symbolism of the third eye or the
Mhm.
eye on the pyramid that everyone tries to make like it's evil or some type of like government watching. They're trying to mimic these symbols and pervert them. But essentially, the all-seeing eye is the divine universal eye that watches over this sphere. And when I say sphere, I'm talking about we live on a flat, level
Right.
plane of inertia, and we're enclosed by a holy sphere that rotates around us.
Hmm.
Ether, the ether sphere.
Hmm. So
And it's Pac-Man effect. I kind of like the Pac-Man effect theory. Not sure hasn't been explored very much, but
mm,
you know how people say like if you go all the way over here, you'll go on the bottom and come back like a globe.
mhm, mhm,
I
mhm.
always kind of thought like, what if it's just like this is a physical realm, it's infinite, but it has its limitations. So if you go off this table, when you get to that end point, you actually just pop up here
Mhm.
because it's astral. I kind of felt like the sky is an astral entity in and of itself.
Movie.
So when we're looking at the stars and the moon and all the movements and trying to dictate and understand them, we don't understand that those are actually heavenly bodies and they defy physical logic.
Indeed. Every okay, so understand that logic on this planet is logic on this planet, right? Two plus two is only four on this planet, right? Who's using numbers on Mars, right? But from a personal belief, I can show you. You take this table here, right? When we say Earth is flat, this is what we mean. Okay, this is how we are sitting on this. Airplanes don't go around the globe; they go around the globe like this, right? Think of us as a petri dish. Antarctica is not a continent; it is the ice that is that encases us, that keeps all the water in. Let me explain to you how the ultimate, how the creator, how a creator create, not a god, a creator, the creator, however the mother,
The
the
emanation.
cosmic mother, whoever you want to understand that, understand that God is you. Chris is a god. I'm a god. Man and woman together is God. Perfect man, perfect woman is
In
God.
the flesh, in
In
the
the
physical
flesh
realm.
is God. The creator is something we couldn't. I told Preston this the other day. Until a person can show me how to make a tree, not plant a tree. Show me how a blade of grass is made. Show me how a grain of sand, a grain of dirt is made from the from the ether. Show me that, and you can't tell me about the creator. You can tell me about God because I'm God. You can tell me about you, of course you can. But the creator, we can.
The
That is this.
architect.
That's the essence that in religion they tell you if you saw it, your eyes are burned. You can't. That's the essence we can't fathom. Because ask yourself, you didn't create it. I'm a God. I know I didn't create any of this. Who did? We don't know. We can't fathom. Goes back to my first preface point that we are in a position in a realm that we truly do not know who we are. Why? Ask yourself. And you made a point earlier about looking in the sky and shit. There's a
Wonders never cease.
there's a
Right? To be wondered, to be bewildered, and
at
they're trying
all.
to shut down our ability to be astonished.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to let the
Question.
audience know that if once you lose your ability to be astonished, which means basically to go into a super high elevated state through
Mm-hmm.
contemplation
Mm-hmm.
and wonderment, bewilderment, if you lose that ability, you're shut. That's your pineal gland shut off.
That's a beautiful point. That is a beautiful point
I'm the
because
one turn on
I've never, I've
We'll
never.
get to that question. What was the question of the audience?
How would one turn on that under when they got shut off?
I'd like to reactivate it if you fell
Yeah.
into that trap.
Just calcified.
You would have to actually, that's a great question. So if you've actually fallen to a point where life has numbed you so much where you have lost contact with your higher self,
You
the
probably
best
wouldn't
thing you
even
can
notice
do,
it.
you wouldn't notice it probably. If you're asking that question, you're probably
Well, for a long time, doing it, but
He hasn't. He hasn't. He's
yeah,
just
yeah,
answered.
yeah. He's the first
We
generation.
we we have conversations like a
He's the
motherfucker.
first.
But
Yeah, but for the person that has actually shut it off, you know what? That's like what all the zombie movies are about.
that and no, it goes. It's even more apparent than that. That's the everyday worker, same fucking routine for the past 40 years. That's the American dream.
Yeah, they're shutting down our connection to spirit, and
Mm-hmm.
essentially, there's a few select few in the crowd that can help lead the people to light, knowledge, and understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus says, "We, my people, perish due to lack of knowledge." A lot
Mm-hmm.
of people don't want to know, right?
Mm-hmm. Literally,
Yeah, dude. A
it's
lot of
crazy.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up, right? Okay, because like I said in the beginning, I took a different route to this knowledge. So let me just explain. I am darkness. I am complete darkness. Okay.
But he's talking from a dark magnetic light. Remember,
Right.
we talked
Right.
about the black light and the white light and the red and the blue shift,
Right.
and the darkness has gotten a bad rap. So when he says darkness, he doesn't mean evil.
Right. Right. Like how
Darkness is Krishna.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Simplified. Um. But so yeah. So like a lot of my experience and a lot of the things that I base my knowings and viewings off is from that place, right? So understand.
Explain that a little bit. Does that mean like more receptive exercises, or what type of contemplation, or
It means
what kind of
it's destruction. It's order out of chaos, right? So and order out of chaos is not necessarily saying fuck everything up, right? To get what you want or to get a different outcome. It's just do as thou wilt without imposing on another person. So how
And
can
the word's changed, right? Because do what thou wilt, they've made it seem like it means do whatever you want at
right?
all costs, feed your animal nature.
Mm-hmm.
But thou is the Lord. So actually, do what thou wilt on an esoteric perspective, on a true initiated path, means the same thing that Jesus says, "Thy will be done. I only do my Father's will," because the Father in heaven, the supreme good, which is the light and the darkness transcended, is thou. So do what thou wilt actually means. Do the
So,
will of your higher self. That's the child
oh,
of
your
God.
Lord, Lord. I like the fact that you said that acronym for Bible is basic instructions before leaving Earth.
Yep. It's a
The
manual for
Bible
ascension.
itself has nothing to do with religion. It is a concept of moral
Yep.
guidance that makes the book as powerful as it is.
Yep. That's beautifully
Yeah.
stated. Beautifully stated. I like that. It's truth. It's cosmic knowledge put into literature in a very vivid, dramatic, and fearfully and wonderfully made.
See, I come from a different perspective, right? I'm under the impression, and it's not an impression. It's a lot of it's fucking damn near a decade of fucking research and fucking. Okay, so let me explain this. Sorry for the language, but that's what I mean. Like that's a byproduct of being in the dark for so long. It's just. But one thing everybody needs to know from the jump is that we have a lot of questions, but everything is already within you. We live in the year 2024, and your ancestors have been with you since your great great grandma's aunt was alive, because DNA is told President the other day. DNA is nothing but a recorder. It's a notebook, right? Like this is why Chris has his mom's sister's uncle's nose on his face right now, right? Just as well as the physical was recorded, every trial and tribulation that they went through was recorded. This is why sometimes you reach a point in your life where you're like, how the hell did I get through that? How did I make it through that? You made it through that because of the strength that's already encoded in your DNA, right?
Yeah. The divine, as we stated in that one book by Illuminated Brahmanism, how it says that the universal mother creates physical entities and uses that past DNA. So when your soul descends to the physical realm and chooses their body, because your body's made in the likeness of your soul and spirit, essentially when it's choosing that, it's basing that based off of where it's going to develop the most.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, we're trying to find a spot, because we're born from the ethereal realm, from positive and negative, love and wisdom, male and female, split into souls, split into Adam and Eve, descend. If you're male, you're male. If you're female, you're female before this physical even incarnation.
Mm-hmm.
So you're always going to be male. You're always going to be female. If you're male or female, you're male or female before this realm. So once you come into this physical realm and plant your feet into your soul's being developed. You're developing your individuality as a person, and I forgot the point that I was trying to make with that. What were we talking about right before that?
So
That's exactly right,
with the
though.
concept of individuality, and like a lot believe that if you break a man, you destroy one's individuality. Can an individual truly be destroyed?
So
No,
individuality can't be destroyed. You are immortal, but the thing that can be destroyed is self-conscious immortality. The basic premise is everyone's immortal unless you do the heinous, harmful evil. If you take pleasure in evil and you degrade yourself so far that you do go into perdition, then you will be recycled because that energy is still immortal, but it becomes recycled. It actually comes back out as demonic
it
entities.
has to.
But
It's
on a
vibrating
yeah,
at a certain level at that point,
yeah.
right?
But on a
Yep, go ahead. I'm
But
sorry.
on a good note, our individualities are immortal, but the problem is a lot of people are going to those next realms bewildered by the light.
Mm-hmm.
And because they become bewildered by the light, they're just going through the motions,
What
like
that?
we do here.
What's that song? Blinded by the light. Like,
Yeah.
dude, that's that rock and roll back in the day. That's the type of shit that I sit back and I ask myself, where did they go to get that?
Oh yeah.
Like, where did they go? But no, yeah, that's a great point. Um,
They went there and saw it before they wrote it. That's what we were talking about before. All this stuff that we feel like books, I don't care if it's books, video games, Pokemon, Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, any type of anything like that is all seen.
and it has to be.
It's seen.
It has to be.
We don't invent
comfortability
anything.
in our own environment,
It has to
whether it
be.
be
And I
fantasy,
only say that because
reality,
I'm an artist,
or
right? If you've ever played the
religion.
guitar, if you ever played the piano, if you've ever written a song, if you've ever drawn a picture, right?
Well, let's have the guest ask a question real quick.
Oh yeah, of course.
We get all of our beliefs from our own reality that we manifest. Whether our manifest is actual reality or non-fiction or fiction. You read a fantasy book. Why are you reading it? Because it appeals to you. It's how you see certain aspects of yourself. And
That's
that's
true.
why the knight in shining armor always has such a big role to play in an individual role.
Hmm.
It's
You
the
know,
hero's journey, right? Our path of our souls. We're supposed to look up at the sky, see the sun
Hmm.
triumphing,
Hmm.
and going past. Oh, the sun died. It's wintertime. It's cold. Look, it's cold out here. It's dark. But guess what? At the end of the year, the light comes out, resurrected in spring.
Hmm.
Aries, the Lamb of God, comes
so
and saves
with
us
the
all.
concept of
Yep.
resurrection and everything,
Yeah,
you know,
resurrection. We
I think
resurrect after this physical realm. This body is the
resurrection
physical
is
body.
a lot like organic growth.
Yep.
When it reaches to the ground, it becomes a seed, and then the tree is resurrected. And instead of the actual person being resurrected, it is our knowledge, energy, and understanding that is resurrected, not the spirit itself.
Good point. Yep.
Energy.
So go ahead and kind of just talk about how basically, like you were saying, how can we really see ourselves for who we are, and not just be pretending, right? Because there's a lot of religious people. There's thousands of religions, right? There's thousands of esoteric schools. There's thousands of people on YouTube, gurus, teachers, all this. People are still, um, we're all, somehow in our own, we're rolling in our own mud, essentially,
Literally.
even still. So yeah, knowledge is not enough. Faith without works is dead. But we have to have actual knowledge of truth, and we have to have
Here's the thing
forthrightness.
about religion. Religions are formed off of perspective and belief, which I mean, I honestly think religion is belief and perspective in itself, which is the whole downfall of the concept of religion. And
Yeah,
I can't not believe I'm a piece of shit and be a piece of shit. I gotta believe I'm a piece of shit to be a piece of shit,
yeah, it's true. They do
right? I
That's
infect
not
gotta
us.
true.
believe in,
That's not true. There's some people that
um,
are pieces of shit that don't know they are.
That's
well,
true.
yeah,
It's just
you
how
know,
they are. That's
just
just who
just
they
for
are.
example, you know,
See what you just described is what he asked. How a person how a person not lose that? How do you not lose that? You have to always, like you said, be real.
Yeah,
Okay? And the only person, I'm not saying the only person you have to, but the most important person on this planet that it is the most integral to be real to is yourself.
well,
You
all
have to
of that
always
being
be real.
said, wouldn't it will be perspective too?
Huh?
Wouldn't it will be perspective too?
Well,
My reality will have similarities to your reality, but
exactly.
my reality will never be the same.
Exactly.
Therefore, my real
Your real is not
is
my real,
truth.
but they coincide
Yeah,
sometimes.
it's like there's four truth. There's four sides to the truth.
You said that the other day. There's one
There's
truth.
he said,
There's one truth. That's
she
not
said,
truth, though.
the
That's
truth,
not
and the
truth.
other
those are
That's
the
perspective.
not
truth
truth.
of appearances
Exactly.
on the realm, like Thomas H.
Those
Burgoyne
are how you
said.
get the truth.
No, it's not. No, it's not, President.
When an
That's
investigator
not
goes
it.
in there through a crime scene, right?
Uh-huh.
And he's got a couple of bodies on the ground, all these fucking suspects, no witnesses. How does he get the truth?
From his perspective,
He
he
looks
he
at all
asks
four
around.
sides of the
He asks.
perspective,
He asks around. He asks
but he
questions.
uses all four
But he
lenses
comes to
of
his own eventual,
his own
which
his
everybody
own
can too,
realization.
though.
Yes.
Everybody can too. Like that's a good point. But a crime scene is like, I would say, 7 times out of 10 definitive, right? Like you can come to a concrete conclusion about that. When we talk about individual lives and people, I would never be able to come to a conclusion about you, because you are a true, like a crime scene isn't an individual.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you are, and so to answer your question, the way you keep that is to be real with yourself, and you have to shit on yourself,
Yeah,
right?
you
You
have to
have
be
to.
humble. You have to have
You have
humility.
to.
You have to look yourself in the eye and say that you are capable of actual. You're not just this perfect saint,
Hmm.
until you've reached the point of actually incarnating the inner Christ.
Hmm.
You're following the Christ. You're following the
Hmm.
light. You're following the consciousness or the phosphorus or whatever you're looking at. The illuminating light within yourself essentially is what God said. God, let there be light. In the beginning, the Word was with God, and the God was the Word, and the Word was made flesh. What does that mean? That spark of truth, that sound vibration that comes from the beyond limitless emanating Father, creates a ripple and a sound that sounds the holy triumph, the army of truth. All of that truth encapsulates the order of the universe that forms from the uterus of the divine mother and puts into form and beauty. If you
So
don't, if you're not necessarily, if you're out there and you haven't subscribed to a religion, or you don't have like an archetype in your mind of the father, the mother, whatever, then the best thing you can do is worship, admire, and observe beauty. Beautiful things. The beauty
that's
can
dope.
save you.
That's
So
true.
follow your heart and find beauty in life, and that is enough, because beauty is part of it. There's the father, the mother,
That's some good life shit.
the father and the mother, and then producing the child.
Mhm.
And then down here, what happens from that knowledge? Truth and wisdom equal knowledge, and Tippereth, beauty. And beauty is found in the human heart. So everyone stay in the essence of beauty, from the
I
forces
want to
and
say
from
human
beings.
heart would be the best way to put in an individual heart, because humans are master
Well,
creatures.
not just individual
You
art,
know,
but we're
like
talking about
we're
like
very
creations.
primal, and we're stuck
Yeah.
on this concept of
We're not though,
survival.
dude. We're not. They want us to think that we are, but we're not. Because
It's
you
the
can't be
concept of
primal.
survival that makes you
Certain
primal.
people are, right? Don't get me
You
wrong.
know.
Certain people are, but that's because they were programmed to be, right? They were taught that. Because if you
Okay.
look at past civilizations, you don't have. How can you be primal and be an Egyptian? I'm not saying that you can't. I'm just saying what the Sumerians and people even before the
Yeah.
Sumerians were
Yeah.
getting into, like they clearly ascended.
But
Bro, a natural human being, they want us to think we're primal. Everything we're doing is against our inner self. Actually,
Literally.
if we actually lived our true nature, like our higher
you're
nature of what
absolutely right
we
there.
have the
So,
option.
in reality, the concept of reality we live in, we are in the matrix.
Literally.
Yeah.
I don't know what anybody says.
Literally.
My life has been programmed for me before I even started living my life.
Yeah, but that's why you
You
have
know?
the ability to seek help from the higher guardians of truth, the angels, the guardians, the devis, the
Okay.
demigods, and the higher
So
lords of creation.
let me ask you this: as a man with a lot of pride, too much pride for my own good, how do you reach that concept of help
So
when it seems
essentially,
like it
why is
doesn't
because
exist?
you have to understand that there's beings that have been there and done that before you,
Yeah,
have
yeah.
ascended to the higher spheres of
Humans don't
reality,
think for
and
themselves.
they know
It has been
more, and they
done, and
actually
it can be
are in
forced
charge
upon
of. They
people.
implant thoughts and motives in
Mhm.
us. They
You say
implant
that.
thoughts and motives in us.
That question reminded me of the conversation we had about your friend the other day. That's what I was gonna say. Sometimes it's not even you. You think it's you, but it's not really you.
Yeah, that's true. And the thing is we're being influenced either by this higher spirit realm entities, this hyper materialistic entities, or the Christic entities, which are in the middle.
Mhm.
And essentially, our everyday, we have to be in the middle, right? Because there is a point where if you extract yourself from society too much too soon, and you become hyper spiritual without paying attention to the physical realm, you will become a maniac, or you will become like
Do
you
you think
won't
it's
be
a
able to have
necessity
proper
to
insight
remove yourself from society? With
temporarily if
that
you're
being
ready.
said,
If you're not ready, and if it's not fruitful for you to do it at that time, like if you still have, like, basically you don't go there to eliminate desires.
Right.
You don't go and become a sage to eliminate desires. That's what you do after you fulfilled your physical realm,
so
and basically try to live within the laws of the universe, and fulfilling your physical
this is
desires
something
in a
I've been
sense from a
told
higher
over here.
perspective.
Society is a lot like Stockholm syndrome.
It is.
Like
We're
I've
insane.
been told
They've
that
Yo,
idea, man.
they've
We
made everyone insane.
become comfortable. We become comfortable with our
Hmm.
yeah, we
Hmm.
have. Yep, and I've had people all the time try to explain to me how being in the matrix is the answer. Like it's like do everything right, do everything that we've been told, and all of this, and it's all going to work out in the end. And I actually have to, like, I've been in the workforce and whatnot. It's hard. It's hard out there. I
captive.
have a lot of friends,
Here's
and
how I feel about that. I mean, like,
it's
yeah.
hard out there. It's not a fun. You do feel like your life is owned by something else.
When you were an infant, did you know you could walk?
You did.
I
You
mean,
did.
you
You
did. You
don't
just
remember you did, but you did.
yeah.
This is why you cried.
But
You're sitting there
did you
pissed,
know
like
the steps to get to walking?
You do. This is how you do it. Understand this.
You know,
Understand
because like
this.
when a baby falls, he gets scared. No, I just had to fall.
Understand
He
this.
fell on my ass.
Yeah, and got
And then
back up.
you gotta fucking everything in us comes from outside.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Is momentum from
No, it
physics of
no,
outside.
it's the majority of your life. And I'm gonna tell you this personally because what you told me about your mom the other day.
Yeah.
So look at you. The majority of your life is influenced by your DNA, your ancestral karma. That's the primal aspect of a person's life, right? The primal, the beginning is solely impacted by what the people of your past did. This is why I posed this question to you the other day, like, why the
Yeah,
fuck was I
yeah.
not born in the mountains with $1 million? Because of what that group lineage's DNA did in the past, right?
Yeah, you have to take on their repercussions, but at least the universe gives you a good starting point
Exactly.
according
And
to where you deserve, right? You get
exactly.
what you deserve, guys.
Exactly.
You get what you deserve, folks.
Exactly. So that's the base level though. Now from that base level is you and your individuality and what you want to do with it, right?
So some of it's a gift, though. Like there's a mix between
Mm-hmm.
deserving. The
Oh,
father
it
is
all falls in place.
it is bountiful. Like there is an element to this that we are developing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we come down here and descend and we choose our parents or our inner instinct, your subconscious instinct chooses where we incarnate
Mm-hmm.
based on vibration and the law of likeness, then essentially we're choosing where we're going to be developing our inner I am. When you were 3 or 4 years old, the first time you had that spark of I am, once you had that spark of I am, you became an individuality. You bit the apple. You split the conscious mind from the subconscious mind. Now you have to cross the Red Sea like Moses to get to the promised land, which is the unification of the subconscious and conscious mind, which taps you into self conscious, which you will attain self conscious immortality. Everyone's immortal, but you actually have to acquire and sustain and stimulate self conscious immortality so that you can actually maneuver because the astral realm is way more crazy than here.
Way more
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. If
Like
you think that I'm this and that and this happens on day to day basis all the time in the physical realm that you're sitting around like this, like what am I going to do today?
mm-hmm.
Or you're scrolling through your phone, or all the time that you're like driving and shit, and or you're going to work and you're sitting there, and only sometimes right something happens. Like right now we're making a podcast, right?
Right.
But before this I was sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
Before this I was like taking care of take care of this, take care of that,
Mm-hmm.
do what I gotta do. In the astral plane, cut all that out.
Non-stop. It's
It's
non-stop.
nonstop.
But
There is rest.
this is yeah. This
There's
is
rest in the astral realm.
mm-hmm. On
But
a different
it's a different level.
a different fucking level of rest.
Yeah.
Like you gotta understand time travel too. This is why people from the astral plane actively dwell here. This is where most like A-list celebrities are they're from the astral. But fuck was I gonna say?
Well, the astral plane is highly influential. Like we don't know that. You know, when we look outside our window and we see like right now we can see cars going by or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If you peek in the window of your mind, there's traffic out there too.
Of course. All
Yeah,
fucking
I
day,
mean,
damn
the
it.
brain picks up like 4,000 milliseconds of data. Like doing like for real, you read 4,000 things, but only 2,000 really get processed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's all you're seeing. It's
Mhm.
half of what you really process.
Which is why like people need to I'm gonna go back to my original point, man. We are in a space where we truly don't know what this is. So like nothing listen, nothing should be all right, everything comes from within, right? I'm not saying Chris's answers will come from my within. I'm not saying Preston's answers will come from my within, but everything about you that you need to know comes is already in you. Ask yourself this question, and this used to fuck me up since I was a kid. Why do I have to know who I am? Why do I have to find myself when I am me?
You can just be.
Simple. Everything that you need to know, all the things that I registered about life came from me paying attention. You just have to pay attention.
You have to tap into the fulcrum of your consciousness, which
Not
is
only
called
paying attention, you got to
personal
experience
point
a
of
lot
consciousness.
too to pay attention to
Of course,
the
of course,
experience.
of course.
You know?
Experience equals attention.
You have to create your personal point of consciousness and essentially find your inner fulcrum so that you can learn to be and then continue to do. You don't just be and stop doing. A lot of people think, what does it mean to just be? Oh, stop doing action. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, no, be in the silence and the stillness and continue to do.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are doing without being in the silence, and it creates mania.
Mm-hmm.
It creates psychosis. It
You
creates.
can never stop doing it. Sharks die once they stop doing it. I'm a fucking shark, dog. You know what I mean? Even when I'm sleeping, I'm bored. My heart's still functioning. My brain's still functioning.
Yeah, that's the
I'm
gunas.
still fucking saying shit.
Yeah, the gunas are always going to continue to operate.
That's how you know.
Goodness, passion, ignorance.
No, that's how you know.
Yeah.
That's how you know that. That's
You're
you.
on a train.
That's you. When you go to sleep and you have a dream about sweating and you wake up sweaty, that's how you know that the mind is separate from the body, that the soul is separate from the body. That's how you know that there is something else. And another thing, the first clue is like, how is this possible? How did I go to sleep without?
A lot of people think that the spirit realm is foggy and that you don't have senses there when they don't understand that every time they've dreamed, they've inhabited a protoplasmic astral body. And yes, it has organs. It has protoplasmic organs, and it's made in the image of this physical clay vessel you're in. This is the mummy. This mummy preserved your astral body, so when you die, you're mummified. What does that mean? You live on as you are, and guess what? Times 10.
Step outside my vehicle. I stepped outside my vessel. I had a vehicle waiting.
Yep.
I've done it multiple times. I can only go back 3 times.
Yep. So we have vehicles waiting for us. The problem is how much control do we have of them? Because in the astral plane, you're free reign.
That's a fact. Somebody could be driving you. Dude, you know, my God, that's a
Yeah.
fact, dude. That's a fact. You know, in the movie The Matrix, that was the metaphor in that scene when he got into the car. He stepped outside of his vessel. He literally deprogrammed and had a vehicle waiting. But who was in that vehicle? Was it for matter cannot be created or destroyed? It just comes back in a different form.
And it could be subtle or gross. And let me tell you this, the lower spheres, I'm going to break it to you guys down like this. There's more physical realms than this. And guess what? They're more dense. So this is the only physical realm where spirit is in contact with physical in a synergistic manner. But there's realms that are more physical like this, and they're the realms of the goblins. The realm of the goblins, if you think this physical body is heavy, or you think that your car, if you think that your car, if you think it's hard that your car is like, it's metal, clanky, whatever.
The fucking golems.
Yep.
Like in fantasy, the big stone golems. This is their realm.
No, they're lower sphere.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This is not this, but that's their realm. Everything.
We get too dense, right? And that's the thing. Don't become dense, folks.
Explain how you can become dense.
How you can become dense is basically completely taking pleasure in evil, unconsciousness, and ignorance, and essentially never repenting in your life, never saying, hey, you know what, I fucked up, I shouldn't have done that, I'm going to move forward and try to do right, and you stop listening to the still small voice within yourself, or you fall for a soul trap. Like, I don't believe anyone could lose their soul just from some government psyop where they can, like, they're going to inject this or put a chip in you or something like that.
You know how insulting that is?
And yeah, that's assaulting. Like, they're not anything physical. Just like Thomas H. Bergman says, I always reference people because, like, I come up with these ideas and then I find them in books. So I like to reference. I already knew that too. I always instinctively knew nothing could touch the soul. In all the ancient texts, nothing physical. The soul cannot be burned, injected, infiltrated, touched, seen, whatever. It can only be seen with astral eyes. It can only be heard with astral ears. So essentially, I feel bad for people that get co-opted by those operations, and essentially I do feel like it does stagnate them or cause them to have maybe a dampening effect, maybe an inability to focus or something like that. But the same thing is that they will never lose their immortality. They're all children of the Creator here, and we're all leveling up after here, and we're all the veil is going to be lifted.
Chris, do not do that, dude. Do not do that. Do not be sugarcoating. We're all not doing shit. Okay, we are all not leveling up.
That's
and
true.
going. No. No. Some of us, we all should be, but there's in this day and age, in the age that we are now with humanity as a whole, I feel like the biggest way that people become dense is they give themselves titles. They attach themselves because people don't know what karma is. They people go through life thinking karma is what it's not. Karma is not supposed to be acquired at all. There's no such thing as good or bad karma, right? The it's the tip of the scales, right? Because once again, the universe isn't looking at good. Oh, that was good. That was bad. No, it's perspective, right? The universe doesn't know. It's like this. I explained this to a person the other day. Science tells you that if you have a bad heart or a bad organ, if you ingest, if you ingest a healthy heart or a healthy organ, those cells will regenerate. Science tells you that. This is why you have people in the 1% club that eat the organs of babies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
because they're actually they worship the flesh and the material realm. In fact, a lot of people are trying to achieve physical immortality. A lot of esoteric schools are trying to preach that,
not
you know,
dying.
if you or they're doing it, they're actually preaching that you can become physically immortal. And the true sages and adepts would say, "Why would I do such a thing?
Why would I want
Why would
that?
I imprison myself in the physical realm?"
Oh my God.
As Swedenborg said, I've seen beautiful landscapes, fields, and realms filled with beautiful luminescent sights and hearings, to ever believe that the physical realm is all there is. So
Hmm.
we got to prepare those bodies. Just be conscious, be awake, be kind, but be awake and be aware and be a warrior. And don't fall for any of the traps out there. And essentially, always use the sword and shield of truth and wisdom and justice and mercy balance so that you can live a life and open up your mind, turn the light around and see within you that you perceive as dark, find it in yourself and begin changing it.
Now, with that being said, understand that we are all a part of it. We are all some type of an archetype. Personalities, the personality of a person are the planets. These are all the original. You can say gods if you want. The original archetypes that were put in this planet. This is on this planet. This is why those are what we worship. So understand that when you see a movie and there's always this bad guy, right? He's just always like the Joker. He's just always innately bad. There are archetypes out there that are just innately that way, right? There's no going to the light. There is no sword and shield for them. They innately have this, and that's because we are all spiritual. We're not physical. You know how much stuff is going on right here that we can't see? This is we are being like you ask yourself sometimes like everything was good. It's the morning. It's a Monday morning, right? But you just go past this spot at your job or at home and you just get an instant bad attitude. The ringing of your ears. These are all influences that are influencing you on a spiritual level that we can't see. So attention attention and detail to your environment is key. I say perspective is key. Understanding is God, but you have to understand and know that a lot of the influence that we're being influenced right now is shit we can't even see. It's it's waves, it's energy.
Yep. And essentially, what we can do is learn how to put ourselves in a specific state. We were talking about it today, and I've discussed it a lot. The ancient secrets of like Salvador Dali or Walter Russell or Nikola Tesla and all these beautiful beings. What they did was they had like a spoon or a key or some type of metal brass, and they hold it in their hand, and they fall asleep and by a tile, and as soon as they doze off and that key hits the ground and they
Mhm.
wake up, they have an epiphany and they extract because they go to sleep with purpose. They
You
go
hear
to sleep
that?
asking a question. Never go to sleep without an intention again. Every night, write down in your dream journal, ask ask a question, try to use it as an extraction method. Instead of taking a nap, drop a nail, wake up, and start having ideas on what to do, because that's the time where your mind is able to dive into the subconscious and the superconscious and extract information. The main purpose of meditation after you establish your being and inner self and actually acquire your first initiation. What is the first initiation? understanding you're not the body, the dweller in the flesh. Once you have that out of there, meditation needs to be used for extracting information from higher subtle realities.
Every fucking time. Even dreaming. And we there's so much stuff that it bothers me that they say we don't know anything about when they actually do. They claim to still know nothing about sleep. But that is that dude, where the fuck, dog? Where the fuck you come from, dog? Cause I've never heard anybody make that point as vivid as you just did. Every even sleeping, it's not it shouldn't be frivolous. You ask yourself why you do it.
Yeah, we have to experience the three phases: sleeping, waking, and dreaming. And we have to understand that as we go through the alchemical process and we create or turn on our inner light. In the beginning, there was light because the vast darkness of Divine Mother. Out of that comes the light, just like conception. But we're talking about meditation. Meditation is a very sexual process. It's the
Mm-hmm.
conscious mind and the subconscious mind, male and female,
Mm-hmm.
and you're actually impregnating it with thoughts, and it's coming input and output. So your reality is all based on basically your mind intercoursing with itself to
Literally.
produce children. What are children? Thoughts, motives, actions.
It's I don't know.
So how to direct it? Direct your ship.
It's
Put
all
yourself correctly.
it's all about it's dude. I used to think I used to think this was all hard. I used to think that everybody had their. I believe wholeheartedly that this is all about rightening the ship, right? Um, because I'm a firm believer that this is hell, right?
We've
Um,
made it a hell. It's been infiltrated
exactly.
by this realm has been infiltrated by astral demonic lords. Now, what we're going to talk about is since we talked about self-conscious immortality and conscious immortality, demons also awaken their conscious immortality as well.
Could we
The
say?
whole
Could we
thing
make a
is,
point though?
yeah,
When we say demon, right? You just mean the opposite because there. It's like saying every black person you see is a demon, right?
yeah, I
And there's
saw
bad,
that.
there's
What I'm
good
saying
demons.
is, demons, in my perspective of it is demons are people that take pleasure in hurting and harming others.
There are
So,
some
but
demons
there's
that do
not
that.
demons. Not all demons are that, because demons can also be used in the same way as the one of the philosophers was in communication with his daemon or demon.
Hmm.
This is your higher entities that could be good,
Right.
but if you take out the angelic term, it doesn't have to be that way. So essentially, those entities can be considered demons, not necessarily good or evil, but demon is just a disembodied entity that's conscious. So essentially, that hasn't made it to the higher spiritual spheres yet. They're just another citizen of the astral plane. In fact, we're all demons here in the physical realm because until you've scrubbed your mirror clean, and just as Christ said, "Be perfect as your Father in heaven, who's perfect," until you're perfect through faith and works, then technically we are demons. Look at people in the street, or look at ourselves even. Our features are not the best. This is not the highest features, right? In the higher spheres, there's more beauty. Right, the physical realm, we don't manifest our true complexive, complicated beauty
You can't.
pattern. As in the higher realms, there's more beauty.
There's okay. So there's that's that's common sense though. There's obviously going to be more beauty in a place that has less weight.
Density.
Exactly. Simple. It's easier to mold the clay, right? Um,
We have to incarnate in these vessels that are dense in order to form. Let the game shape and mold me. We're being molded by the game on the chessboard, the game of in the snow globe. We're in a snow globe, and but it's not. It is serious because everything that you do and become here does have some pretty intense ramifications. Like who you are now is going to be who you are on the other side, and you're going to have more freedom to do that. So if you're crazy, if you if you love what's wrong, you're gonna have full access to it after death. The only thing is you're gonna be secluded by into a realm of people that are gonna do what you do to others to you. So if you're a thief, you're gonna get jacked from. If you're a rapist or an evil person that is out to hurt or
You
harm.
wanna get your booty looted.
Yeah, if you're doing stuff, basically you're putting yourself in a perspective where people are going to end up doing it to you as well. So if that's the lifestyle that you want to live, then just know that when you reach the astral plane, you'll have more access to it. So
Constantly, motherfucker. But this is why this is check out the play on society though. You only live once. No, you don't. Maybe here, and then
yeah,
most people don't even
yeah,
only live once
yeah.
here.
The only live once thing is the whole. It's a psyop in and of itself, but the real truth, it has a truth to it. But when people use it in a nihilistic way, that's like level zero, like the lowest level.
It's
The
lesser
highest
magic.
level, you only live once, meaning you only live once, meaning you live in a whole continuous verse. You'll never stop living. You only live once because there is no twice. You will always be who you are right now, only on a more subtle or dense form. You can only go up the ultraviolet spectrum or down the ultraviolet spectrum. And the physical realm is your one opportunity to mold yourself because after this realm, your discrimination faculty kind of gets mingled with in a sense where it's almost disabled. So you're just on a train.
Literally, bouncing off stars.
You're going here. Next thing you're here, you're at this astral carnival. Next thing you know, you're at home in the astral plane with your partner chilling. Next thing you know, oh, you're smoking some astral weed. Oh, you're driving down here. Oh, looks like this happened at your. Let's say you have an astral job. Oh, something happened there. Oh, Jerry messed up the rhythmic cosmic sound vessels because all your job's gonna be high level there.
Uh-huh.
Like your job is gonna be like,
But still, like forklift, you know what I'm saying? It's like what we got here, they're higher, way higher than this fucking shit. But
yeah, there's
that's
jobs
funny.
out there. That's funny. A lot of people say, they're done retired, but when you go to the astral plane, you're kind of young again. You have a lot of will and strength renewed in yourself, but essentially you'll be able to get along just fine. Just keep on your lantern, folks.
What do you think the truth in the fountain of youth?
Say that again.
What do you think the truth of the fountain of youth is?
So the fountain of youth basically the wages of sin is death. So every time you go against your inner spirit of truth, you're degrading your body. So you think that you're giving pleasure to your body, but what you're actually doing is stealing from your inner nervous system chemicals. Yep. When you go and rage on someone and beat the crap out of them because you're mad, or you go do a bunch of drugs, or when you go do a bunch of like hateful, if you're yelling at your, think about people that just came out of they just yelled at their family, shit got wild, domestic violence. You know how much that's gonna fuck up your nervous system?
Yeah, it literally affects the gray matter in your brain.
Yeah, you'd be fucked up, dude. Like
This is where trauma comes from.
that's where you can get messed up here.
Yep.
And your
You
soul,
can
yeah.
get Yeah. People don't understand, do you? Man, okay. So we perceive life. We perceive life as what we do every day, right? But don't even realize that, like, for example, in comparison, if you're riding a bike, you fell off your bike, you scarred your knee, right? That's an impact. This is how, and that's a scrape, that's a bitty pick. So you fucked it up real bad. This is how the events of our life is affecting our soul. Like if we got a bad breakup and it really hurt, that's a scar. That's a scab. That's a scar that some people even have. I have old scars from past lives. I have scars that manifest overnight because I hit a certain timestamp where I was supposed to have it or where I obtained it in the astral. Now it's here. But people need to understand that this is the most. I ask a lot of people that, like, how do you not see that this is the most, especially the people that say, oh, don't take life too serious. What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you
Life's
mean?
very serious.
This is the most important. It should be the most important thing to you.
Life's fucking intense like Campbell.
What you love, whatever you love, you will be and have in the next life. And even if that means you love there's people that get off on causing harm to people, relationships, business, friendships are
Can you
broken
love
and
without
ruined.
loving yourself first?
No, you cannot.
Yeah, you gotta love yourself. The whole thing about looking out for other people before yourself is wrong because if you can't look out for yourself
Simple.
and establish your foundation at rock first, you can't help anyone else. You don't have any light. And in fact, you can't even project light to help an individual ascend or heal from a spiritual disease until you reach the Pisces, the 12th stage of the alchemical process.
This is where we are. We are here. This is my last time. Oh my fucking! I'm at the ass end. I'm at the end of the journey, dude. I done went through all y'all fucking zodiac signs. I done experienced all your fucking karma, all your pain. I have it all in me. I have it right fucking here, and I'm about to fucking dispel it. This is what I'm saying. This is what I meant earlier. Like, I'm done.
So when it
I'm
comes
done.
to pain, like, Tibet teaching with monks and everything, you can shut off the pain. You can manipulate how you feel.
Yeah, mine over matter. Mind over matter. But I'm under like my thing is don't turn off anything. I feel like everything is integral to the experience. Is integral to the growth. People say, "Oh, forget about it," or "Get over it." Nah, don't ever get over anything. Remember it. You don't have to let it affect you, but always remember it because every step that you take on this planet, whether it's to go to the fucking store, whether it's to go to work, is a lesson. Every single step you take is a
Yep.
lesson.
Oh, I was thinking about the other day.
Which lessons do you think hold more value?
All of it, bro, because this is a workshop for your conscience, bro.
I don't know,
When you're
absolutely,
driving,
absolutely.
when you're driving,
I
go ahead.
personally believe like what holds more value is the event and type of event that created value in that.
So even like
Like my
the
lessons,
getting
my
used
best
to this,
teachings have come from the worst experiences.
you don't need a lot of experience to be able to navigate the higher realms. In fact, it's easier to progress in those higher realms. The thing is like even if you were to like, like pass away at like age 20, 23 or 31 or whatever, you would still have the correct equipment and knowledge to be able to navigate that higher realm, especially with help.
So
But essentially, just being able to say that you are in a body, you have a hand, you have a
nowadays,
mom, a dad, or whatever,
age of death and people who live a long life,
they're going to other places. They have
about
other
80,
missions to fulfill.
90, right?
Didn't I tell you not to fuck about interrupt our podcast? There has to be a flow. I'm fucking up too. I ain't gonna lie. It's just exciting, dude.
No, I was just like, so with a long life, the average death span is around 80 or 90, right? But that's been changed over time as we've advanced as humans. Now, what do you think the longest lifespan a human could possibly have?
Probably 120.
120?
In this age, right?
In other ages, when there's more ether and we were more etherealized in our
So-
body, our bodies were at one point made with silicone. Like we didn't have physical bones. Right now, it's calcium. We're in the age of Saturn. But essentially, it all started off. We had like protoplasmic bodies, and we had our bones of silicone. So it was like bendable and opaque, and it wasn't like you couldn't break your bone. Everything was hollow. Like you were way more less dense. But yeah,
Hell, we're becoming more and more dense. Why? Because of karma. Karma is the weight of the soul. You don't want to. You on a daily basis. You want to acquire as little karma as you can.
and karma's. We're not necessarily talking about karma in a perspective of like, oh, you're paying for what you did in your last life.
Right.
You're not going through struggles from what you did in your last life as a spiritual entity on its way down. You're dealing with karma connected to the physical organism of the hereditary traits passed down from the vessel that you deserve based on your descent,
Mm-hmm.
and also the fact that what was it? That you are dang, I lost my train of thought there.
So, with karma being said,
Oh, yo, you're dealing with karma from your life actions now. Starting at the age of 12 years old, you start acquiring emotional astral atoms within yourself, and the astral body and mental body that you build from a young age dictates your life experiences from beyond that point. So essentially, and when you say, well, what about things that happened to people before that age or whatever that weren't fair or whatever, the universe actually equips us with certain challenges to mold us so that we can be available. Our destiny may be to help others in that same perspective. We chose to dive down into the physical realm and do that sacrifice to live through that pain so we can bring others out of that pain. Because in the realm of cause and effect, you're physical. If you're evil, yeah, you can get away with evil here.
Hmm.
You can get away with evil acts. Criminals get away with evil all the time, right?
It's because of how they perceive it, right? It's perspective. The You acquire karma by how you react. Karma is reaction, simple as that. And you acquire it by how you react. So if you do some someone would consider evil, but you don't feel bad about it, then what is it? Once again, the universe isn't looking at your action as how dare you? Let me give you a no. She's looking at it like what? How much weight do you carry with that? And if you carry like this is why people have this is how you can differentiate a person with a conscience and one without, because they will eventually feel bad. It'll eat at them, and then they have to either fucking come clean or whatever, right? But yeah, you don't want to acquire karma, and the way you acquire karma is reacting.
Reacting.
Breathing is karma. If you stop breathing, you're done, right? Being lazy is karma, right? Because spiritually, you know you're supposed to be always moving.
Yep.
And I'm saying all this, everything that I'm saying, everything that I've shared today is from experience. Like I've been to the deepest of the lowest of the lows, and I've been to the fucking peak, man. I've been at the top of the mountain. Um, but okay, so I feel like what time is it? I feel like at this point, how much longer you want to go? I can go.
I think we're good. I think this is good for part one. It's been a
Sure.
great conversation. I think it's been good. We're gonna unravel some more mysteries next time. So thanks for joining us,
Of
folks.
course.